In every challenge you face, the Lord will be the lamp unto your feet, a light unto your path. Christian music artist Jason Lovins' life was already planned by God when an innocent 15-year-old girl was assaulted and became pregnant by a stranger as she walked home from a community swimming pool. And God has a plan for your life too. This is His story. This is today's Nashville. This is faith. Jason, I am so excited that you're joining me today on today's Nashville. What a blessing and honor to sit down with you.
Honored to be here.
You know, I listened to and watched your video, Constant.
Mm-hmm.
It had me in tears. And we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Why? But you're celebrating your 20th year.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. The band started in college, and before I knew it, we were on the road every week, and then you blink and 20 years go by.
Let's go back to your childhood.
Yeah.
You grew up where?
Canova, West Virginia. It's right across the river from where I live now in Ashland, Kentucky. I tell people I married a Kentucky girl and couldn't get her across the river, so we live over there now.
Did you meet her in high school or
in college?
Okay.
Yeah, and we went to college at Morehead State University, just about an hour down the road, but we ended up just moving back home and in that same area, so that's home.
What was it like growing up?
Oh, I had the best childhood, I really did. I lived part of the time with my mom in the city and then part of the time with my grandparents out in the country, and so I really did kind of get the best of both worlds. And I look back on that now and just very thankful because I got to have a pretty cool experience growing up.
Are you the only child?
I am.
The only, okay.
My wife says I was very spoiled. I don't necessarily agree with that, but she thinks I was.
So tell me about your high school. When did you get into music, and when did you know that was a passion of yours?
Sure. I don't remember ever not singing. My grandma sang. She had a little gospel group, and they traveled around. I mean, we were in church every night. Somebody was having a revival service somewhere, and they were invited to sing what literally felt like every night. And so I don't remember not singing. They would put me up like in front of the church, like up on whatever to like so everyone could see me. So that I remember that my whole life. But I only learned to play the guitar so I could play for my grandma. I just wanted to play for her because she was amazing. And
did she teach you, or did you?
No, I just taught myself. And she didn't play guitar, actually, now that I think about it. I never thought of that. That was the only reason I even learned to play, was to play for her. And so music was always there. If I had a minute in middle school where if you had asked me what I was going to be when I grew up, I would have told you I was going to be a country star. I was pretty serious about it for a minute. And I'd sang all through high school at church, but when just people asked me to, you get busy in high school with sports and all these things. And so it wasn't until I got in college that the Lord really showed me, hey, this is what I have for you. So if you want to do it, let's do it. And so it went from there.
When did you give your life to the Lord?
I was 8 years old.
8 years old. Do you remember the?
Very much. I was at a church camp in eastern Kentucky. And I remember the guy walked me outside of our cabin that we stayed in. He was like our cabin counselor. I don't know what they called him, but he led me to the Lord right by this tree. And just literally a few years ago, I walked back to that camp and I walked straight to that tree. I remembered exactly where it was. But yeah, I was 8.
How did it change your life?
Well, when you're 8, I don't know how much it really changed, other than I just knew this was something I was supposed to do. I just really felt so serious about it. I remember coming home from camp, telling my grandparents and my mom, and got baptized that following Sunday. I was baptized in a creek up a holler, like that's how country we were. And I still remember it vividly to this day.
Tell me a little bit about your grandma.
She was the best. We're from the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, hillbilly is real. And that was my grandma.
Did you grow up poor?
No, my grandpa was a construction worker. If we were poor, I didn't know it. And then my mom, she had a great job. I had like every pair of Air Jordans as a kid, so I wouldn't say we did. If there were any issues like that at all, I sure didn't know about it. So they worked really hard to take care of me, and they did.
Did you have any issues in high school and college, or?
No.
Did you ever stray away from the Lord? Or?
I was a pretty good kid. I remember just having so much respect for my grandma and my grandpa too. He was not a believer at the time. He didn't get saved till he was 70 years old. My grandma prayed for him for 50 years. That's a whole other story. But I just remember thinking, like, I don't ever want to disappoint them. And so I really didn't get into much trouble at all growing up. I probably should have gotten in trouble for a few things that I didn't get in trouble for, but for the most part, I was a pretty good kid.
Now, you said you went to church with one of our Nashville artists.
Yeah, so I grew up in my little tiny church. The youth group was like me and my 4 cousins, and so I didn't even know there were like big churches. And I got invited to the big Baptist church in town. They had a huge youth group, praise and worship band. I had never seen that before. And all of a sudden, this guy walks in and surprises us, and everyone's freaking out. Like, oh, he always comes home and surprises us, and I'm the only one that doesn't know who it is, and it's Michael W. Smith. And they were like, he's from this church. This is the church he grew up in, and I had no idea. And I went home and asked my mom, like, hey, nobody told me about this guy, and I knew pop music. She was like, yeah, you know that song, Place in This World? I'm like, yeah. She was like, that's him. And I'm like, nobody told me. And so he's always been a huge inspiration. And we've played with him a few times. We did a sold-out show in our hometown once, and he asked me to be there to open up for him, which was one of the best days of my life. So
you've opened up for a lot of really amazing artists.
We really have. It's been just the neatest thing because we've been totally independent all these years, just doing our thing, and the Lord just kept opening doors. And we've gotten to do some pretty cool things.
Did you ever tell Michael your story?
Oh, yeah, totally.
What did he say?
He just laughs at,
He's a great guy.
At the time, he's still the GOAT to me. He's the best of the best. But, mid to late 90s, he was kind of a big deal.
Oh, yeah, he's still a big deal.
So he just laughs it off. But I said, man, I had no idea who you were,
Did he inspire you to go into Christian music?
Yeah, it kind of came on the back end, but yeah, once I figured out who he was, and there were some people in our church who were his best friends growing up, they took me to a concert of his, and I remember vividly one of the adult leaders turned around and said to me in the middle of his concert, hey, he's from here. If he can make it, you can make it. Just little things like that just probably set you on a path that you didn't even realize at the time. But
well, God had a path and a purpose for your life, and we're going to talk about it when a 15-year-old girl got assaulted, became pregnant from walking home from a swimming pool, and it changed your life.
Sure did.
And we're going to talk about it when we come back.